So about 8 months ago, I started working with Novsight, and they sent me LED headlights and fog lights for my 2004 Mustang GT. This would be the same as the 99 to '04 cars. I believe they even go back to the 94 to '04, but the company sells a lot of lights, and they have a whole drop-down menu on their website. You can go in there and select your vehicle and choose your lighting options. And those lights have been fantastic. And the people who I've worked with Novsight to get the lights to me and customer service and working on it through social media have been fantastic people. Very professional, very nice, very easy to work with, and they've been very polite and very accommodating. And so it's been a 100% great experience working with them. And so they actually got me some tickets recently to go down to the SEMA show. And so I went down there and they had a booth set up, and they even had a small little interview, and they asked me about how I liked the lights and what I thought about them. They asked me if there was anything that I think they could do better with the lights, and my honest answer was no. I think everything about these lights is great. The construction of them is very high quality. I believe it's aluminum housing and everything, and they are super bright, super dependable. And we talked about maybe putting a set in my Tahoe while I was down there. So I got in contact with them and said I would like to try putting a set in my 2001 Tahoe, which is very similar to a Yukon, a Silverado truck. The same headlights are in the front. And they said, yeah, we'll send you a set of those and see how you like them. So I took these before pictures here. And as I was mentioning earlier, I drive to work every morning in the dark, and so I use these every day. So these are the stock lights. I wanted to do just a basic overall walk around of what they were like, and even some driving in the night, especially the darkest part of the road where I travel every day, so that I could compare these to the ones that they're going to send me. And this is the part of the road here where it actually picks it up better on camera than it really looks. It's quite dark driving through here, and there's the brights. And this is going up a hill, and there's people who walk on this hill or ride their bikes down it sometimes very, very early in the morning. And so it's been actually kind of a hazard to drive up here and worry about maybe hitting somebody. And I talked about that when I installed these lights in my Mustang. And the first day I had the Novsight LEDs in the Mustang, there was somebody who came zipping by on a bike, and it was really difficult to see. But this is just a before comparison of what it's like driving. And again, it shows up better on camera than it really does. It's like almost better for me to drive with my phone recording and me watching the screen on my phone, because I could see better in the dark, just the way that worked out. And the night vision on the phone was really good. And so this part of the road here I'm going to compare to with when I install these new lights. But I really enjoy driving the Mustang every day with the LEDs in this section of road. And when I think about choosing to drive a different one of my Mustangs that doesn't have the lights in it to work, a lot of times I feel like I'd rather just drive the one that has the LEDs in it, because they're so good. So they sent me these lights, and here's the pack that comes with 2 sets, because on this car there are 2 different actual bulbs. There'd be a high beam and a low beam when it was split on the other ones. So there's the 9006 and the 9005, and the 9006 is actually the low beam. So you would think that the high beam would be the higher number, but it's not. And so these are the 6500Ks. This is what I asked for. This is what's in the Mustang. It's something very bright and not super, super blue or anything. They're pure white colored, and I really like them. And so you can go to their website. They have a really easy to use drop-down box where you put in the vehicle, the model, make, and year, and then you can go and look through the website. It suggests which lights to get. And again, these were the 6500K. I believe they were the cool white. And on this generation of Chevrolet GM vehicle of my Tahoe, which would be similar to the Silverado, and I think even the Yukon and the Sierra, it's the 9005 and the 9006 LED bulbs. And so when you open it up, you'll see how very, very well packaged these are. And they are they come with the instructions and everything and a key tag and neat things like that. But when you actually look at the product, there's zip ties here to hold it inside too, if you'd like. And looking at the product is what really blows you away. I mean, this is a nice metal box here, and the construction of the LEDs themselves is in the aluminum housing, and it's super nice. The chips are really good, and it's just so well built. The wiring on it is fantastic. It has a little fan here built into the back, and so it's just plug and play. This is just such a great design, and it's high quality. It's nice and heavy. You can tell that it's built very well. The wire connectors are super strong and super nice. And so I've always been impressed about that with the other ones I got, and how nice that they are. And they have some adjustability in them too. And so this would be the 9005. So this is actually the Brights one here. So we'll look at them when we install them in the car. But just, again, the box they come in is just super nice, and they're so well packaged. You know you're getting a super high quality product here. And so I believe combined these lights put out 400 watts, and they're 900% brighter, and they're 80,000 lumens. So this is just a good combination of lighting, and it's something that it's like having a light bar on your vehicle, you know, like those off-road light bars. And Novsight does sell a lot of off-roading stuff, so they're really good at that stuff too. I saw the stuff at SEMA. So we're going to get into this, and we'll start installing them here on my 2001 Chevy Tahoe. It's pretty simple here. You just pull these pins out of the locks and then pull them straight up. And this will give you access to the headlight. The whole housing comes out fairly easy. And so it's really nice to work on something like this where it just comes out and you can access the bulbs right here. Just really simple to work on. And so these are just twist out bulbs like this. So when you pull them out, they look like this, kind of a 90-degree look to it. Just pull on the big black one that my thumb's underneath there, and they come out nice and easy. And then the new ones go in the same way the old ones came out. And so you'll want to orient these just like the other ones came out, and I'll show you a close-up on that. And like in this case, this one went right in and twisted into place very easily. And then here's the connector pigtail on the back. And something I'll say right off the bat is if you plug them in and they don't work, try flipping the connector around 180 degrees. In this case, that first one I did was the Brights, and the connector could go either way. And so the way I had plugged it in, it didn't work. But then as soon as I unplugged it and flopped it around, then it worked perfectly. So now I'm going after the low beams. And these ones were a little more difficult to get to. They did come out okay on this side. The other side, I'll show you what I had to do to make room for the new housing. But this one I did go ahead and use a screwdriver to disconnect them, because you can see I'm struggling to get that tab up with just my fingers. And, you know, I just decided it'd be better to go ahead and get a screwdriver and lightly pry up on the connector, because you don't want to break that off, because then it won't securely connect when you put the new one in. And so here's the new one. The housing was a little more difficult for me to work with, I think just because it was getting old, and I don't know how many times the bulbs have been replaced in this housing. But in this case, I wanted to pull them out and do them the right way by putting the little other piece in first. So you can see it kind of seats down in here. You put it in and then you twist it. And so that's the way it's supposed to go in. But as I was twisting it, it was just rotating the housing of the actual LED. So this piece here, this ring, it comes off if you want it to. You just click it and until it slides off. And what you want to do is just get the piece to match how the stock one was. So you can see there's 3 little wings on it. And so you can set it down in here, and I'll show you a close-up on the other side when we do it again, just so that we show it. But see how the cables are pointed upwards? That's because the light housing is upside down right now. So you want the cords coming out the bottoms of them when I flip this back over and install it into the car. And so here we have the 9006 is the low beam on the left, and then on the right we have the 9005, which is the high beam. So here's the tag, and the tags are nicely labeled, and the housing of the LED has it on there too. So it's very easy to work with, and you won't get them mixed up because it's very well written on them as well as on the tags. And so what I'm doing here is I'm getting it all ready to test out, and so they're just in there the way they're supposed to be, but I haven't zip tied the rest of the connectors anywhere to keep them out of the way or anything. I just wanted to get the light in there to make sure it worked. And like I had mentioned before, the high beam, which is the one now on the right, on the inner side, that one actually was not working because the connector was not plugged in the correct orientation. And there's tabs on each side, so it could go either way, so I didn't know. But there's the low beams, and then when I go to the high beams here, you see there's nothing on the left side there. But that was easily fixed by unplugging it and putting it in the other way. And I actually did the same thing on the other side, and so both times the high beams weren't working, and then I realized that they just need to be plugged in the opposite way. And so that all works good. You can see a little fan on there moving everything. Now, for whatever reason, I couldn't get the housing to fit on the low beam side on this one, and so what I did was I loosened the adjustment with this was an E8, and I'll show you that in detail in a second here. And I'll show you which ones they are here in a minute, but I loosened those as much as I could, and then I was able to fish this one down in there because the body was getting hit on there. And so here's the little disc again. This is taken off of the LED structure, and you put it in there and then twist it so that it's locked into place, and then that makes it easier to slide the actual LED one in and then turn it. So this is the old bulb. You can see how the two bottom tabs are bigger and there's one smaller one on the top, and so I just positioned the new one the same way. So here's taking out the old bulb, and then I just wanted to get the new disc in there and put it in exactly the way that that one came out. So in like that, and these turned out so nice. Even in the daylight, they looked really, really good. Perfect color on these, and it's super bright. And so here's the brights working now as well. And so overall, this looks just great, even the way it looks now. And a lot of people want to upgrade their headlights with LEDs just because of how good they look compared to the dim, older color. And so I started to drive around the neighborhood a little bit, drove up to a wall and checked them. And you can drive up to a wall and mark them and then back up like 20 feet and stuff to adjust them how you want to do. And so these looked pretty good, and I'll go over to my garage here and adjust them a little bit, and I'll show you how I adjust the housing on this Tahoe, which is, like I said, similar to the Suburban, the Yukon, the GMC and Chevrolet vehicles. But look how good these look. They are so bright, and the pattern that they put out is really nice. It's not splotchy or lined or anything. I've had some that were really not very good on other aftermarket LEDs that I've had in the past. So look how good these look, super bright. And when you shine them in the road, you can just see the whole road is lit up in front of you so nicely. And so I'm going to show you some more adjustment, but I decided to take this video in the daylight to show you a little bit easier what we're doing here. So if you look down in the hole here, there's that bit that we were working with earlier. It's an E8, and when you saw it earlier, it's because the headlight assembly was out, but there's this access hole, and this is what you need. I used a extension, and it's an E8. And so again, you just use the access holes, and one access hole will do up and down, this one here. So this will adjust the headlight, the whole housing. It moves it up and down, and that's whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise. And I believe clockwise is up and counterclockwise is down. And then this one here will adjust the whole housing. It'll tilt it in and out like this. Okay. And so back outside at night we'll go back to the video here, and if you go counterclockwise with this one, it brought the beam down, and the beam was a little high, but this brought it down to where it needed to be, and so you might need a little adjustment, and it depends on how the housing was before, but you can see how nice that is. I can see it on the garage door there. And so for me, it took a little bit of adjusting and then driving around and seeing how I liked it, and then coming back and adjusting it some more and seeing where the beam pattern is, where I wanted it, and just kind of fine-tuning it. And so that adjustment is going to be something that you'll have to work with. But I decided to walk down the street and look what the brights look like. These are the brights. Those are so bright. And they are really nice. I just love having something like that driving down the back roads. And so as you're driving, you can see it illuminates all these construction barrels and reflective construction signs, and even the light posts there, like the street lights, they have little reflectors on them that it illuminates. So you see the red light up there, it has orange around it, and it just lights those up so well. So here's going up the hill like I did earlier in the video with the stock lights, and you can see how bright these are, and you can use both the brights and the normal lights if you just pull back a little bit on them. But on the Tahoe, you usually just click it back and it does just the brights, and so I was just kind of playing around with that, but I could get it to do both if I wanted it to. But anyway, this is just going up the hill and showing how they work. And you'll see there's somebody right here on the left walking down the road. So I saw them and I was like, wow, these lights help me see them because it puts out a really good pattern and everything. So see the reflective little marks on the barriers there on the way down. It totally lights those up so well. I mean, they're reflective anyway, so they light up, but not like they do with these. And so here's the darkest part of my drive to work, and it just shows everything, and it's just so nice to see. And again, it showed up with the older lights. Let's go have a little flashback here. And so here's the old lights again, and this is the same section of road, and this is going through with the normal lights, and then we'll go to the brights here. So this is that same section of road, same lighting. And now here's the new lights again. You can see how much more it lights everything up, and it does a fantastic job. All those little reflective things light up so brightly. There was even a trailer that I saw that had some reflectors on it parked in the street there to the right, and it lit it up really well. And so as you can see on these semi-trucks that has the reflectors on the side, those light up really well. Just like anything that's reflective is instantly lit up, and I really like that. You see all the road signs. You can even read street signs better. It like lights them up so well that it's like it makes them glow so that you can read them better. So here we have a street light coming up, and I know it didn't focus on it very well, but it just really does a good job. So here's the same place arriving at work, and this is where I walked in the beginning of the video, but look at the light pattern on the ground there. And here's a flashback to the old lights, and I think the passenger side was even aimed way too high, so it was like having brights on anyway. But you can see how these other ones were pretty dim. I mean, they're still headlights, they still worked, but compared to what you get with the new ones, let's go back here, we'll do a flash forward to now, and you can see these are just really good. And down at the end of the parking lot there's another trailer with the reflectors on it, and that worked out nicely. You could see that illuminated and reflective so well. So overall, I am super happy with these. They're just as good as I expected them to be. I love driving the Mustang. I drive the Mustang every day with them, and so now I put these in, and I drove my commute to work and back with them in the dark, and it was just fantastic. So I really like this product. This is something that I asked them to go ahead and send me for the Tahoe because I enjoyed it so much on the Mustang. And I said, let's put a set of these in my lights for the Tahoe, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And it was very nice of them to do that for me. So anyway, here's a little comparison. The top was the old and the bottom is the new. And it's just night and day difference, no pun intended. And in this picture, it's hard to tell because they're so bright that it makes the bottom picture light up everywhere on the lens of the camera, but they're so much brighter that they are just fantastic. And this picture shows the difference with the old ones on the top and the new ones on the bottom, but you can't tell how good it is like it really is in person just in this picture, but I'll tell you they're fantastic. So these are the lights that they sent, and I'll put the link in the description. So these are the ones I used in my Tahoe. And so you'll be able to go on the website and select these if you would like for yours, or if you have a different vehicle, you know, you'll find something you like. Now, they also sent some decoders, and it says packaged, arrived without content. And so basically what these do is they keep the lights from flickering or having any issues, and they weren't sure if I needed them or not, but they sent them anyway, and I didn't get them because they were somehow lost in shipping, and the package just arrived in the mailbox with nothing in it. But they were very, very nice to say they'll send me another set of those. And so if it becomes a problem, I will install those and I will show them in a later video. But I might not need them. They seem to be working just fine without them. But that's something to consider as well. So I want to thank Novsight for sending these lights to me, and the ones I have, the Mustang, that I enjoy, and I wouldn't be making this video about them unless I really like them. So you can use the code JUSTINSVT on their website and get a discount if you'd like a set of these, and no matter what vehicle you have, they have the drop down and you can select them. I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Sometimes you get people on their bikes or running on the sidewalk there, the bike lane. It's really nice to be able to see them. There's someone right there. Gosh. Hear the fans?